There appears to be some kind of ramp underneath the lava. There's no way to use it without immediately bursting into flame.
That's where that sigil could have come in.
Yeah, probably. Oh well. Well, we're gonna have to talk to these guys in a moment.
Well, you're... Oh.
So, here's some new blood to feed the furnace. I doubt you'll last long.
The man spreads a jagged tooth grin and runs his tongue along the front of his teeth. He stares at you while he does. You made it pretty far. How have you fared?
I have high hopes of making it out with all my pieces intact. If the censor wanted this to be challenging, she should have sent people with more drive.
He shrugs.
With help of my mates and a few sages, we'll toast the competition to a fine ash and powder our faces with their defeat. And if we find the silent archive in the process, that will be good too.
So, tell me about the contest.
Again.
Honestly, the only important part of this contest is that only one group is going to make it out alive, and I get to have the fun dismantling every other group.
He smiles, an insane glee in his eyes.
This is the perfect spot to lay in wait. There's a piece of the passcode down that hall. If someone takes it, they'll have to walk right past us. There's even a sage down there with a wounded disfavored. I'm letting them stew. Fear and blood taste so much better when they're allowed to marinate.
He opens his mouth and licks his lips. What do you know about the silent archives?
Wasn't he supposed to attack you? Why is he telling you all this while...
So this game's kind of broken right now. So this is actually one of the very first areas where it's Scarlet Chorus focused. Mm-hmm. So the first area was definitely...
Wouldn't they have seen us and been like, yo, you're with the disfavored attack?
Yeah, so here's the thing. They didn't want to reprogram it that much, because this area would be really boring if they didn't have all this dialogue. So normally the previous area was going to be disfavored heavy, and if you were Scarlet Chorus, you'd have to fight through for the most part. Mm-hmm. Save for like a little bit here and there. But you'd still probably have a lot of the dialogue.
You'd probably still be fighting everyone here if you were Scarlet Chorus, because you would be part of the competition.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I think you would.
We'll have to ask Keith about it, about the Burning Library and how it works. But it's breaking a little bit because it's kind of letting us pretend we're going through that part of the campaign, too. Anyway, address the sages. Do any of you want this man to find the Silent Archive? Because I don't.
Think a sage can get a drop on me, do you?
He studies you with an even expression.
Won't happen.
How can you be so sure?
That's how.
They killed him.
He turns his eyes to the second sage, who immediately drops his gaze.
Would you feel inclined to misbehave if you knew you'd be put down the moment you started acting rabid?
Looks at you again.
Our sages know their place. You help and you obey, or you die. Short-sighted fool. This is how you act tough. You discard decades of learned study? Even the voices in Arat would be offended by this needless waste of such a valuable slave.
I agree, Fatebinder. I have no love for the sages, but this man is a maniac. Depriving the Scarlet Chorus of his help would be beneficial.
Well, you really need to die.
Cutting right to the chase without any of the foreplay. A man after my own heart.
It's just him. Well,
it's him and one Scarlet Chorus person. Where's the other
I don't know if he's got any friends.
Oh, there's the other sage. Okay.
Gonna get in here. I guess I'll focus fire this guy this person for the time being. There we are. Love it when they do that. Love it when they line up for me.
I mean, at least that scene had a bit more of a
Oh, dang. Look at this range.
Hmm?
The range on Rhyme Spike.
Oh, nice.
Like, it's a secondary effect for everybody else, but that's still way better than it was.
What's the word I'm searching for? Because I don't want to say cinematic, but...
It was a little bit more interesting than the past couple.
Because he actually, when you were like, oh yeah, you know, your sages will turn against you, and then he just cuts one down, he's like, that's why.
Yeah. There was actually, like, action to go with words, whereas this game is very definitively words over almost everything else.
Oh, yeah, I suppose it would be cinematic.
Yeah. Yeah, cinematic would make sense. Like, that could have been a cutscene, whereas all the other ones would have just been plain dialogue.
Well, the interesting thing about this is, you know, you don't... In a lot of other games, when dialogue's going on, in the traditional, like, JRPGs, you have 2D images of the people, like, zooming in and talking from either side of the screen. And with Mass Effect and BioWare games, I mean, it does a similar thing, except it's using the in-game models.
Trap.
And
Whoops.
what?
I forgot there was a trap back here, so we just walked into it. That messed us up hard. Oh, camping. I've got like 20 camping supplies hanging out back at the
Well, let's go free the sage and the
Sigil of Cyclical Energy. Ooh.
Oh, is that a longer duration?
That's something I'm looking forward to. All right. Let's get this. Let's grab that. Wait, what? My lore skill went down one? What?
How?
I don't know. All right, whatever. So what this does is it
Did you
decreases.
unequip something?
I don't know. But yeah, this decreases cooldowns by 4 seconds at a time.
Did the sage
It might be
die?
oh, you know what? Maybe it was camping.
Camping takes away your skills?
Sort of. You get different bonuses from like resting at spires and stuff.
Oh, so you may have rested at a spire with a library?
Yeah.
And then that boosted your lore. Oh.
Or any number of different things that could have happened. Anyway, Sage.
Oh, the Oathbound's the lady.
It never ends, does it?
The injured Oathbound soldier laughs ruefully, causing her to cough. Flecks of blood spew from her mouth and hit the cheek of the sage currently binding her wounds.
Sorry.
The sage wipes the blood from his face and makes a dismissive wave with his hand. He immediately returns to binding the Oathbound's wounds.
What great company, huh? The Oathbound smiles a little wince. Helpful, handy, and doesn't talk too much.
Well, at all. I never did understand what those muzzles were all about.
But I don't make the hard decisions, do I? She shrugs and groans again. She stares at you, all signs of levity gone from her expression. What are you planning on doing? We are both trapped here with those chorus members right on the other side of that rubble, and I'm certainly in no shape to fight. It would seem we're quite in a bind.
Well, I've come on behalf of Merrick. It's time to go.
The soldier manages a trembling salute, wincing in pain as she does.
Glad to hear it, sir, but as you can see,
I've picked up some company. She gives the sage a worried glance. This man has aided me and stands to gain nothing from it. I vouch for him, on my life. He won't get on our way.
Let's see. You're right. Another dead sage won't turn the tide of battle.
Both of them visibly relax. The soldier slumps back against the shelves, and the sage returns to his work binding her wounds. Thank you. Finding mercy from anyone in here is the last thing I expected.
We aren't going anywhere right now, but as soon as I'm ready, I can get us out. The problem is the group over there.
They're already gone. The way is safe.
The Oathbound smiles. Thank you.
As soon as I'm up for it, I will get out of here.
Okay, so you rescued both the soldiers, and you have the next glowing mark.
Okay. You've lost incomplete passcode. We've got the completed passphrase. Okay. That looks like the final piece. I can't... Wow, they actually have him swearing. I can't fucking believe it. I'm going to see the Silent Archive. Oh, keep it together, Lantry. You're going to give yourself a heart spasm. With an embarrassed smile, Lantry takes a swig from a vial of ink on his bandolier.
What?
I guess so.
He drank ink?
I guess they do. The symbols on the page swim before your eyes, fading and reappearing as you watch. As you stare at them, they slowly resolve themselves into a series of sentences. First and foremost, for those that have the strength of will, the door to the north shall open. Secondly comes passion, burning in the south like unending fire to provide vitality to the dedicated. Then from the west shall the one with true resolve come to explain the gravity of commitment to knowledge. Lastly, look to the east and brace yourself against those who would pull you down. Let your might be solid as stone.
Ooh, interesting. So it was earth, fire, what? Water and whatever. What did it say?
Don't know.
Because it was saying what, the South burned with passion, the North was whatever, and yeah.
We just got a fancy staff. So the Unraveler's Cane. Control atrophy, not so useful. Critical damage multiplier on the other hand. Okay, so cane used in ancient rites of preservation. Mages use this cane in an age when embalming corpses seem practical. Gray wrappings encircle the lengthy old wood. Okay, whatever. Anyway, it is two-handed. It's better than what we've got, though, I think. Yeah.
It seems like there's been a big push for cremation. I mean, I admit, sometimes I think that, like, burials are a little... What would you call it? A little grotesque? Could you imagine becoming a mortician?
Yeah. I don't think I'd enjoy it.
Like, draining bodies, pumping them with formaldehyde and other fluids. They never look right.
No.
I've only been to maybe... I've been to 2 funerals and I only saw one of the 2 bodies.
By that, I mean we'd drink till we forgot geometry.
Ugh. Most of the other people I know have gotten cremated.
I don't think about it. I think both of my grandparents have been cremated. I know my maternal grandfather was.
I know that my grandfather is cremated. And my grandmother will be too. Because they like the idea of being put in pretty little urns.
Yeah. It's more space efficient and a little bit more modern.
Well, also, in
Powerful
graveyards...
warding magic keeps this place intact. Who knows how long it will hold?
I mean, also, they have sort of like these mausoleum houses where, I mean, they do still have the coffins inside the walls with names on the sides, but they actually have glass cases with the urns and like little name tags near them. And I thought it was nice seeing the urns. I know that my grandmother noticed that one of the couples nearby my grandfather actually had the same urns picked out as she and he did.
That's kind of...
She already has her urn in there, but her name's not near it. It's a little weird.
I guess it's a little weird, but I guess it kind of makes sense.
I mean, they already bought it, I
Yeah.
suppose.
It's better than not buying it than not being able to be stored next to your loved ones, I guess. I don't know, this is a weird topic.
Yeah, it is. Actually, what I find interesting, I mean, there's the whole, like, make ashes into diamonds thing. But there's also, I think it was in Japan or Korea, I forget which. They've actually superheated ashes into glass balls. Like, imagine the marbles that people put in vases with water. Like, imagine just being a bunch of colored glass. I mean, weird, but whatever. A dusty missive. This missive is a reply intended for Sage Renata. Aw, well, she's already dead. It urges her to make an important decision about the future of their guild. Evidently, the sages were often used as mediators between the armies. Oftentimes because Graven Ash simply refused to work with the voices of Nerat due to the troubled past between the two. Bum, bum, bum. What troubled past is that?
It's probably that Ash... Yeah, Graven Ash was acting on deep-seated animosity against the voices of Nerat during and before the conquest.
Okay, well, what about evidence against the voices of Nerat?
Tortured disfavored soldiers, conscripting from the Unbroken, aided the Unbroken during the Civil War, feeding the stalwart defenders.
There seems to be
battle
more
plans.
evidence we've gotten against...
Well, that's because we've been interacting with the disfavored, so of course.
Okay.
Wasn't there the thing about,
Thing about what?
There was the...
Let's look... Oh, darn. I wanted to explore more. This place looks like it hasn't been touched by the flames.
Read that poem again. It might help us with the barrier.
Well, first I was going to go up here. Sigil of Influential Domain. Ooh.
Arctic ground. So these are your AoEs.
Yep. Pulse rate per 6 seconds. Duration 12. Okay, freeze the ground in the area. They will receive a stacking penalty to recovery. Might slip and fall prone.
That's nice.
Arid lands.
Ooh,
Fatigued.
I love the look of these symbols. Actually, I just love the look of how you make symbols in this game. Because they just keep adding on to one another.
Let's see. Healing field. Max health. Random hostile effect. Doesn't actually heal, though. Like, unfortunately, these have all been support moves. Huh. Like, I like the sigil, but it actually isn't nearly as cool as I thought it was going to be. Because this just makes people fatigued, which, I mean, isn't a bad idea, but I have that attached to my effects. I just want more damage.
I like the slipping.
Yeah, the slipping ain't bad.
Ooh, I like the look of that symbol.
Puts enemies to sleep. But if they get hit, they'll wake back up. Which,
I
yeah.
never like those. I never like those where the effect dissipates as soon as you hit them because, I mean, think about it from the perspective of playing a Pokemon game. If you used sleep powder and you couldn't attack your opponent, then what's the purpose? Unless it's to regain your own health. Which reminds me, I should play more Pokemon.
Yeah, we should.
We haven't gotten back to Sun and Moon yet.
The room is mysteriously untouched by the destruction that ripped the rest of the library apart. The scrolls look completely undisturbed on the intact shelving. Okay, anyway.
Now the poem... Read the poem.
Oh.
No. Go up into your log lore and read the poem.
Okay. Dusty missive. Completed passphrase.
Okay, so first and foremost, those that have the strength of will, the door to the north shall open.
North, south, west, east.
Mm-hmm. Well, I knew that was it, but do we have to touch them? Or, yeah. North, south, west, east. Okay. Oh, no, don't go there yet. Did we go to the right passage?
Yeah, that's where we came from.
Oh, you came down the rope?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. More scrolls.
A lot of scrolls for research.
More scrolls.
Which is welcome. New research available.
More scrolls.
Another one of these, which lets me get question mark?
Sigil of timeless form.
Oh, that's just duration.
Yeah, more duration. Down the stairs.
Yeah. Watch there be nothing here. The biggest secret is there is no secret or something crazy like that.
Wow, this looks like a basement.
It's interesting. I like the, really like the environments they've done for this game.
Mm-hmm. There are branching paths.
That must be an exit. I think it just loops in. This game does not do complicated dungeons.
I wish that it would tell you where it went. Oh, nice.
Okay, so it looks like there is one thing here. I was expecting multiple, but I guess
You're
it kinda
probably
makes
gonna
sense.
get.
Oh, hi.
I knew Sensor was gonna follow you. You know when you
Yeah,
find the
yeah.
thing and they're always like, "Wahahaha! Thank you for leading me right to the artifact."
Yeah,
They always
yeah.
do that.
Well played, Fatebinder. Whether you wanted it or not, you competed in my game to perfection.
She strides forward eagerly, glancing past you at the newly uncovered chamber.
I've been sending these idiots into this furnace for months to no avail, and yet you've done the impossible in mere hours.
She pauses, scratching her chin in thought. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised literacy proved useful in getting past that barrier. In a place like this, my men couldn't tell scholarly writing from chicken scratch. She shrugs.
Lesson learned. And bodies are cheap anyways.
It's a shame that your talents can't be put to further use for the voices. She shakes her head, disappointment evident in her voice.
You have a talent for ruthlessness, you know? But your string of successes ends here. Your body will join with those of the sages on the altar. It's rather amusing if you think about it. They may have stopped the building from collapsing, but they couldn't stop the edict or the Scarlet Chorus. All they did was sacrifice themselves for a scrap of parchment they're going to lose anyway.
Interesting, because I find your confidence amusing. I just eliminated your entire crew.
Almost as amusing as yours, Fatebinder. Those fools were mere peons. You'll find I will not fall as readily as my underlings. One does not lead in the Scarlet Chorus for long if one does not know how to watch for danger. And while I thank you for your help opening up the passage and finding the Silent Archive, you are no longer of any use to me. It is time to end this.
Oh, yeah. I'm very threatened right now. There we go. Alright. Let's see. So we got Rhyme Spike, we got this. I guess let's start with this one. I guess I should probably do this next.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question now.
Yes.
If when we get to that altar, we have the choice of destroying it or taking it for
I'll
ourselves.
Very specifically, I will like actual save.
Because
we'll
I want, because let's say by keeping it, you know, with the edict being intact and everything, Kairos knows that you've quote unquote failed or that you've turned against her.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean,
shortly,
if you
I
can
guess.
read the contents of the scroll and commit it to memory, that would be just as good too.
Yep.
Or Lantry could make a copy of it, or would that actually keep it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I mean, we were able to find a way to circumvent the whole lineage thing with Stalwart.
Yeah, it's true.
What if just destroying the original parchment was enough? Censor's Grit.
Shard, Kindling, Crimson Great Spear.
Well, you still want those things, but the Shattered Glass Fire? What? Oh, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's just trash with flavor
Okay,
text
save.
attached. Okay, so we'll save for real, but honestly, I was gonna save after we looted everything and interacted with all the.
I was just
everything
worried
else.
that there'd be cutscene again.
Okay, obsidian fragment from the wall.
Ooh, nice. Oh,
Right.
and there's a little tiny purple.
Okay, we've got a Chronicler's Eye.
Ooh, a lens that Lantry can equip.
Extra lore and will defense. This lens of distorted sea glass was originally used to augment the failing eyesight of sage hierarchs. Popular belief was held that enough documents of arcane lore have passed to the eye, through the eye, by way of this lens. Oh, to the eye by way of this lens that the glass itself has learned over time, taking on strange properties. That's good stuff for Lantry. We get a Staff of Hours, Distortion. Oh! This is an artifact.
Ooh, nice.
Graze deflection, hit deflection. Okay.
Would this be good for Lantry?
Yeah. Dramatically slow enemies in a targeted area. These effects scale with the Staff of Hours renown. The glowing staff bears the mark of the sages and was wielded by the hierarch of the Vellum Citadel before the Edict Fire destroyed the ancient library fortress. The staff is passed down in unknowable numbers of hands over the centuries, and tradition dictated that every owner imbue it with an expression of their magical aptitude. Runes encircle the length of the staff, each in a different style, some describing the names of dead archons and others fragments of inscrutable poetry, all intended to unlock some sort of hidden potential. The staff's current aspect is that of its previous owner, Hierarch Jespers, who was an accomplished illusionist and trickster. The staff has served different purposes throughout its long career. It was often employed to preserve old documents or repair sections of the Citadel. Dark stains around the haft tell of a time when it was dipped in vats of ink, a doomed effort to replicate the magic behind the bottomless cistern of ink known as the Everwell. Okay, and then it's just potions and other
Okay, well, why don't you equip that to Lantry? Equip stuff to Lantry right now.
stuff. Okay, good old Lanty Doodah. You get Staff of Hours. Oops.
Whoops, what?
I right-clicked something and I don't think it... Oh, right-click for detail. Okay. Yeah, the one thing is, his other one was actually healing him and doing some other things, but this is fine.
But this is going to level up with him, right?
Yep.
It's almost like a artifact weapon in World of Warcraft now.
Exactly. Though I don't know if the rest of the stats go up. This game kind of also doesn't do that.
I really like the new system in World of Warcraft. I really didn't like picking up random weapons. Really, what? He's just gonna look like a Scarlet Chorus.
Well,
Man.
I'll do this then. He looks like some kind of weird desert nomad. Right now. Yeah, because that actually was increasing his stats. Either that or we could make him go back to being a ninja.
I mean, you can hide the helmet.
I could.
So if you want to give him
Nah,
the
that's
Scarlet
fine.
Chorus one, that's fine too.
I'm sure we'll find some more interesting things.
Now you might want to save again.
No.
Or nah.
We'll save in a bit. I just want to loot out everything, just so I don't have to go back and do anything.
Ooh,
Oh,
what is
wait.
this? First Sage Arwell's directives. Sage Torvin. Kairos' armies have been rebuffed for now, but it is only a temporary victory. I have no doubt that we may hold these walls in a good deal longer, but you must remember that the Overlord aims not to butcher the Citadel's keepers, but to destroy its secrets. Kairos is not omnipotent. Her powers may be known and understood in time, and she rightly fears the knowledge we hoard here. The Silent Archive must be protected. There is no library in the tiers that is its equal. Nothing else matters. Nothing. We may not know the Overlord's plans, but with time and research, we can circumvent any of her designs. I need you to ensure that we will have that time when the moment is right. Focus your efforts on Sage Stea's theoretical forays into temporal magic. While we were right to deny such dangerous experimentation before, now is the time in which its risks are justified. Gather the Elder Sages and make your way to the lower chambers. You are to remain there until you devise a solution to Stea's problems of scale. Halting the flow of time in a single chamber won't be sufficient if Kairos drowns us all in a storm or hurtles this library into the firmament. You must find a way to encase all the Citadel in such a spell, should disaster come. Your success isn't optional. This library will be a distant memory if Kairos has her way. Should we both survive, I'll be happy to congratulate you on your breakthrough. Until then, get to work. First Sage Arwell. Well, obviously that person didn't survive. And this is Sage Torvin's note. Sage Litotes. We can't help you with the ringing of your ears just yet, so we'll have to make do until the conflict is over. Yes, Arwell is very explicit in his directives. I know they seem impossible, but that is the situation we face. Everyone that could interpret the Silent Archive died in last night's attack, so we're not getting any assistance in the matter. Thankfully, I do have an idea, one which requires everyone's participation. Scale is the issue. Stea's last experiments only affected as much as a small chamber. I believe that we can amplify the spell's effects by repeating the motions of the sigils as a group, similar to the ritual magic used in primitive cultures that predated modern tiersmen. Sage Dangling participle believes that this will create an exponential growth in the spell's effects, but an expected cost to stability. I'm inclined to agree. Also, we have no other ideas. No one else here has your expertise in magical foci. You told me countless times how minor baubles can have a profound leveling effect on spells that exceed control of their casters. What if we use something as powerful as an artifact as the focus of the ritual? Without one, the energies involved will quickly become chaotic and most assuredly deadly for all of us. At least with an artifact, there is a chance that Stea's spell will encompass the entire Citadel and put it into a state of stasis. In my opinion, there's only one artifact to use. That's the Silent Archive itself. It's clearly the most potent object in this room. Sage Dangling Participle believes that the staff of hours will suffice. But I'm not going to leave anything to chance. Better that we use the Silent Archive as our focus now and figure out how to safely retrieve it later. Not if you agree after reading this. I really hope that Blast didn't take your side as well. Sage Torvin.
The altar sits in the middle of a lake of lava encircled by ritual braziers. The bodies of the sages who gave their lives to stop the library's collapse are littered around the central pedestal. Okay, it doesn't look like we have anything else. Now we save.
Mm-hmm.
And now we interact with it. Okay. Silent Archive. Remove the scroll and replace it with one of your artifacts to keep the protective magics from ending. A nimbus of magical energy surrounds the scroll, which levitates above the central platform. You see characters upon the parchment, but they seem to shift from one language to the next. Amazing! I had suspected there was more to the Silent Archive than a simple vault. Extraordinary! This scroll must represent thousands of scholarly works.
The motion of the characters on the scroll surface slows as you approach, seeming in response to your presence.
Examine the magical aura surrounding the scroll. We'll try that, and then we'll try number 4.
Okay. Waves of energy radiate out from the scroll, billowing up towards the ceiling and fanning out to encompass the cavernous chamber. It appears that the Silent Archive is an active participant in some sort of ongoing spell, one that is likely keeping the burning library standing. Removing the scroll would assuredly have disastrous effects upon the active spell.
Analyze the active spell.
Sure. This must be the time stasis spell referenced in Sage Arwell's letter. Judging by the bodies arrayed about the Silent Archive, the mages appear to have been successful in their attempts to halt the destruction of Kairos' edict, though they did not survive the process.
Identify the spell's focus.
Sage Lot's experiments with the foci clearly paid off. The spell protecting the burning library is operating at a massive scale. Its chaotic energy is currently stabilized by the Silent Archive itself.
Okay. What are you?
As you utter the question, the scroll surface is suddenly wiped clear. After a moment, words begin to form on the page. Indeed, the Silent Archive is meant to be the final source of knowledge. Every text we have magically transcribed bubbles beneath its surface, waiting to be called forth. First Scribe Gaynor, Sage of the Archival Methodologies, Volume 8.
Fatebinder, should this be true, the Silent Archive would be worth more than some of the old realms.
The passage fades away, only to be replaced by another. The Silent Archive is the 100-year endeavor of the School of Quill and Ink. As one of its creators and guardians, I have ensured that its knowledge may only be accessed by the sages of my order, and only by those specifically charged with such a weighty responsibility. The Silent Archive is, thus, a glittering jewel that only a few may see. Should the artifact fall into outsider hands, I expect that less than 1 in 100 of its secrets will be revealed in the span of a lifetime. First Sage Arwell, Legacies of the School of Quill and Ink, Volume 20. In the blink of an eye, the scroll's text disappears, only to be replaced by a chaotic swirling of overlapping letters and words. It refuses to respond to any further questions. So...
Read the scroll?
The parchment surface is impossible to read, ever shifting and convoluted. You see characters from Old Verdant, written in calligraphy in the Northern Empire, which transforms into words used by nomadic tribes of ancient Azure, and then again phrases of common tongue of the Tears. Okay, continue. Do you want to touch it? I mean, I would like to have the option of like, hey, Lantry, it says it wants a sage. You're the only sage we've got here. You know?
Yeah. I'm
almost wondering, you see, I thought that we'd be given the opportunity to give the staff that Lantry just acquired to be the new focus.
Yeah.
To like swap them?
I think you can do that if you're with the Scarlet Chorus.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Because it said that when we were reading the thing.
But the Scarlet Chorus, they were gonna take it too.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to throw it into the lava, right?
No.
Because that would make everything
Let's try
crumble.
touching it.
Okay. You reach out and touch the scroll, but as soon as your hand passes through the cloud encasing it, a violent tremor erupts in the hall. The shaking continues for a few seconds and vanishes. Ooh. Ooh, so what's Lantry gonna say?
I would proceed cautiously, Fatebinder. Not even these runes should remain standing after Kairos' edict. I suspect the sages used the Silent Archive in some way to stave off destruction.
Well, you're given the option to leave it, but what would we do?
Well, we could leave, come back. Let's try taking it? Because I don't want to throw it into lava. Let's take it.
Can we save?
We already saved. Right before this.
Okay.
Sure. We take it.
Slow down. That's a load-bearing scroll. Move it, and the preservation magic will fizzle. Let's leave for a second, then. Do we have anything we can do? We've leveled up here. Lantry, inventory.
Can we just put it in our inventory?
I'm just going to put this in our character's inventory. I'm going to quick save. Yeah, there's really not much we can do, sadly.
Okay, then you just have to leave, right? Or you... The thing is, if you destroy the Silent Archive, the edict should end, at which point the place wouldn't crumble?
Yeah, I don't know.
But by taking it out, it would crumble.
Let's see what happens when we take it.
We're gonna die. Yeah, what? So be it. No, no,
Let's find out.
No, no, no.
I want to
no,
find out
no,
what will happen.
No,
the
no,
other option is we chuck it into the lava. Let's take the scroll.
No, 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 we're gonna die.
Oh, this can't be good.
Feel the burn.
All right.
What, are we just gonna come out the little
We might, yeah.
side door? And that would be that?
I guess.
Yeah, we did.
For a moment, I wasn't certain that I could run fast enough to escape in time. You seem to have emerged intact, though I wonder if the edict has fared as well. The air surrounding you begins to thin. The smell of embers begins to diminish. The clouds of smoke slowly...
Revealing the sky beyond them.
Weird. Slowly revealing the sky beyond them.
Whoa, the edict did end?
Yeah, I guess so.
Just from you taking it?
Guess we got it. Well, I guess the library got destroyed. Kind of wish that happened when we were inside of it. Anyway, you feel a powerful pulse of warm energy burst from the Silent Archive. Sound disappears into a deafening silence. Your vision blurs and you are overcome by a dizziness that nearly knocks you off of your feet. Then, as quickly as it hits you, the feeling passes. The air around you begins to settle, and the particles of fire and ash that moments ago stung your eyes dissipate with a chilly gust. With the Silent Archive removed from the burning library, the Edict of Fire is extinguished, and its warmth feels pulled into your very chest.
You know you're just asking for it from the sages. You're never going to hear the end of it. First the edict, next they'll want you to scour the tiers for the torn out pages of a farming almanac.
So much knowledge turned into smoke and ash. Ending the edict can't undo the damage, but perhaps now this place can be rebuilt. I hope future scholars can unearth whatever remaining books and scrolls are still buried within. The sages had better shape up and share their knowledge this time. Hoarding it got them here, and I hate to think that history might repeat itself. The shape and intensity of the fires leap into your mind. The details of the mighty incantation, the wording, the magical logic of the flames, all are seared into your mind. With perfect recall, the Edict of Fire is now a part of you.
Oh, nice. Uh-oh. Who's that?
Merrick.
It is Merrick.
Thank you for your assistance. I can finish anything else in the library that requires the disfavor's attention while you return to Graven Ash. I will send him my full report as soon as I'm able. Should you need any assistance in the future, you have but to ask.
Yeah, so that's just his weird chin plate.
Oh, I see.
Alright, Sage's Guild Wrath ability and other stuff.
So we're at utmost worst.
Okay, so we gotta go talk to Merrick. We ended the Edict of Fire, Seats of Power, Trial of Archons. Okay. So Scarlet Chorus, we have no favor. We don't have much wrath with them. We've got max favor on them, max wrath, max
The sages
wrath.
hate you.
Yeah, well, we blew up their library and took their scroll and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you collapse the burning library, destroying everything within and leaving the sages in disarray.
And you killed 9 sages.
Yeah, so we have magic seal, seal the target's magical energy, interrupting them and preventing them from casting spells. Well, honestly, they already hated us, so... Bronze Brotherhood. Still haven't run into them
Well, that's
too
because
far
we
yet.
haven't gone up to claim their spire yet.
Yep. It's funny that we never maxed out the
Vendrian Guard.
Wrath with the Vendrian Guard. Let's see. Anyway.
The only hope that we have of being on anyone's good graces would be in Lethian's Crossing.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens with Jelena.
Thank you for assistance. I can finish anything else. Okay, that's nothing. Anyway, Jelena.
Jelena, what am I to do with you? Not only did you sell us out to the Scarlet Corps, but you used your oath-bound connection against us. In all the history of the Disfavored, I never heard of a more despicable crime. Not even the Scarlet Furies would commit such an atrocity.
Merrick, they were torturing me. I had no choice.
You could have endured by drawing strength from our bond. We would have found you eventually.
Merrick massages his brow. Okay.
Ooh, what's the lore options?
We'll find it in a second.
Okay.
Fatebinder, I'm grateful that you returned my unit, but I have another problem, Jelena. While I'm sympathetic to the fact that she suffered at the hands of the Corps, I can't pretend that she didn't betray us. Neither can the rest of my scouts. You have a way with justice and law. Would you mind adjudicating the matter? I'm too knotted up over it to make a clear-headed ruling.
Let's see. Jelena only revealed what she had to. And
Oh, she did do misdirection.
Yeah, and deserves to rejoin the unit. Her misdirection allowed the rest of you to survive.
I must admit, I had not considered this interpretation of events. He pauses. Jelena caused the deaths of some, but only for the sake of sparing others. When you frame it that way, she did indeed rely on the strength of her brethren, and there is no action more disfavored than that. Jelena, it pleases me to welcome you back to the unit. Pack your things and get ready to move out.
Thank you, Merrick. And you too, Fatebinder. I vow to strengthen the disfavored through my loyalty and deed.
Who's Lupin?
Huh. Interesting.
A young man in singed and tattered clothes notices you approach and salutes with a strange gesture. No, that's not it. He drops an arm to his side in defeat. I apologize, Fatebinder. I'm fairly new to all of this. He attempts to mask the sudden crack in his voice by clearing his throat. I've been dispatched from Iron Hearth to act as a quartermaster here at... He looks around at the state of the scorched earth all around him. Whatever this place is. Teach him the proper disfavored salute. You take his arm and hand in yours, pressing his fist tightly together and then thrusting it towards his chest. He lets out a sudden gasp of air before collecting himself. I see. Thank you, Fatebinder. Do we lie and get a discount?
I don't know.
How'd you come into Ash's service? His face droops downward. Where I come from in the north, we don't have much. My brother sent for me to join him at Iron Hearth. Serve the soldiers there, and earn a wage of some kind. His eyes begin to waver into a crestfallen cascade towards a gaze that rests at his feet. By the time I had arrived, he'd already been sent off to serve the garrison at Vendrian's Well Citadel. I'm sure you are well aware of what happened there.
Oh, so his brother died.
Yeah.
Aww.
Anyway, let's see your wares. Okay, so he does have Oathbound armor, which is new, but also kind of useless to us, I think. Oh, that's a bit better, actually. Expensive. But I'll take it. Okay. There's also an Oathbound dagger. Well, that'd be good if we were using verse, but we're not. Wow, this guy has, like, nothing. Okay, well, I'll just take his gloves, and then we're good. I think. This had camping supplies in it, yes?
I believe so. That's the only reason why you would leave something untouched.
Yep.